Hi, Professor Kalamanis here. So I'm going to do a little bit of a discussion about Crito and your revision. We're going to talk about ethical arguments and why they matter. Great. So I'm going to be talking about the rhetorical arguments and what we mean when we say finding an ethical argument. So we're going to think about a paper that we already wrote on education and Crito. So let's just go down now, right? Thinking about Crito, not the character Crito, but the piece that was written by Plato. And the reasons that we want to consider, what was he talking about? What was Plato talking about in terms of the state and your ethics? First, you were born into this society. And in this time in the United States, we are thinking about education in many ways. And we think about the timeliness of this argument, right? So the kairos of it. The logical argument is then that you are a member of the state. One, you were born here. Two, we educated you, or the state educated you. And three, the state is essentially your dad, which is what Socrates says. So when we think about the ethical argument, you can't change the state. The state is not always what it seems. The reason being that it is also the government and its institutions. And so because the state is not what it seems, the argument is not just about how you feel. You are, in fact, indebted to society, whether or not you think you are, according to Plato. So if we think about the reasons why we're indebted to society, it's because of laws. Crito is asking, what are you willing to die for? Socrates was willing to die for the sake of being true to his teachings and to those laws, and not to the unjust laws, because those laws were invented to incriminate him. So finding the ethical argument is very important in the Crito. If we think about finding the ethical argument in our own papers, we read about work and low wages, we wrote a response to those readings, we found a thesis, and you were asked to write something that could be argued. So maybe you were summarizing, but at this point you should be able to find an arguable thesis. That means that people can disagree with your main point, or at least that someone can find something that has a different side to that argument. Socrates then says that we must live in the state, or that we are free. And if we think that laws are unjust, then we must change the laws. So that's the ethical argument in Socrates, in Plato's Crito. So thinking about the ethical argument in your own writing. Now, we had that demonstrated to us by Martin Luther King Jr. in the Birmingham jail letter, where he discusses with his white colleagues the freedoms that, again, must be made freedoms. And it's similar to Crito because it had a certain kairos. It was set in a certain time, and it was asking his countrymen to act. So this letter becomes a historical fact about American history. Sorry. And those facts enter the dialogue again in 2023. From here, students are asked to revise their paper. We think about the writing process. So here's our writing process, and we're like here where it says revision. Now, a lot of times students come into college and they think of revision as just cutting or fixing a period, but we're actually asking you to rewrite, to revise. And so your paper is going to look again at ethics and education and other topics that might be worth looking at. The question then becomes, should everyone go to college? Why or why not? And you're asked to write a paper of 4 to 6 pages. In this paper, you can revise your original draft. So things that you've already written, responses to rows, responses to graph, talking about work, talking about education, anything that might be useful in this assignment is going to be included. Remembering that this is a revision. So it's graded separately also. And because we're at the second half of the semester, you're graded on unity, support, and coherence, as well as sentence skills and MLA. Students are now expected to attempt the MLA on the assignment and format the essay according to the MLA. So for assistance, you can go to this website here. And this is a very helpful website. So I'm going to go to that website. Okay, so in general, this website is considered one of the best ones around for basic formatting and MLA. There's a lot of information on this website, so I'm taking you specifically to the MLA page, and I want to just show you the basic formatting. Here are the rules. You can read through this if you want, online sources and that sort of thing, and then some questions here. But I just want to go down and show you that this is for the works cited page. And sorry about that. That's probably, let me just pause for a second. Okay, so actually here where it says MLA General Format, Formatting and Style Guide. So if we look at this and we kind of scroll down, it has all this information asking you about the style guide. And the general format is here. And I just want to scroll down. I'm sorry that this might be a little bit frustrating, but this is what the paper should look like. So the first page, right? And you notice that I can see this, right? So I'm going to look at your paper. It's going to come up on my screen. And I'm looking for your name in the right corner, the header here, everything formatted correctly. And then going to the last page, which is the works cited page. So all of that is here on this website. Again, right? OWL, Purdue, Writing Lab, MLA General Format, in-text citations, formatting quotations. There's all this information here. I'm sorry about these ads. But here we have the works cited page, basic format. So again, I can show you, right? There are basic rules, and I'm looking for these citations, and they're going to look like this. The last name. If you don't know the last name, then it's a problem, right? But you have to try to find that last name. And there's all kinds of information here for you. This is, you should attempt it, right? So once again, if I go back to the slides, right, 30 points are the MLA. So you can attempt it. If you don't attempt it at all, you lose those 30 points. Right away, the paper becomes a C. So, try to do it if you can. Okay, so good luck with that. Again, the assignment is to revise your paper, answering the question, should everyone go to college? Why or why not? Now, I know that when you get these assignments, you automatically want to reach out to me. But at this point, you should be able to see that I'm asking you to write an evaluation and to revise the paper that you already wrote. So questions that you have may actually just prompt you to write. So try writing. Write the paper. Right? Don't research it and Google it and use an AI site. Actually write your response and just take your chances and then format it after you've written it. So I would say you probably, once again, it's about 4 hours of writing. Okay, good luck with the assignment.